Pull out the jelly, woman.
This is number 4 on our jelly advent calendar.
What's the flavor? Let me see it. I'm confused. Come on, give it up. I'm concerned. Cherry violet leaves spread? Cherry violet leaves? Am I reading that right?
Cherry and violet leaves spread.
Leaves?
Yeah.
Just the leaves?
Yes.
Not the cherry or the violet? The leaves of the cherry and the violet?
No, it is cherry, but then violet leaves.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But you do get the cherry.
Oh, it's not cherry and violet leaves spread.
Correct.
It's cherries and violet leaves spread.
Right.
Jesus Christ. It's actually also extremely sticky compared to the other. It's like it won't come off the spoon, so you're just spooning it.
I didn't get enough of that to taste it.
Oh, it's very leafy.
I like that.
It has a very leafy aftertaste.
You're fired.
It is the leafiest of aftertastes. It is a vine. Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, I enjoy that a lot.
All right, off we go.
It gives it like a certain like herbaceousness.
Herbaceous is a great word to describe eating a green leaf at breakfast time. Give me my poor zoom in of the day.
I don't even think you have them stacked in order.
This is where they actually are in order.
Oh, they are. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's, yeah. I'm doing my job, but I'm going to box 4.
Okay.
Because it's banished. Anyways, we're here for Casual Geographic. The 10 most disturbing ways animals can hurt you.
Hunt.
I can read. It's hard because we have some extra long ass screens because somebody here cannot measure. And we gotta fix the depth so I can read. But anyways, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's some ups. Is it just beating the shit out of the?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And it's
You
over.
have nothing else to be grateful
Boink.
for. Get on your knees and be glad that if you have 99 problems, avoiding predators ain't one. I hope. Otherwise,
Stop!
you should probably get off your knees. Predators have petrified us for as long
my
as capable
God.
of consciousness. Off the fact that just seeing one implies many others had to die. But for many, it's not what they can do to you, it's how. And these are the top 10 worst animals
That's a turtle.
hypothetically hunted by. And spoiler,
To be fair, that guy asked for it.
Right.
Okay.
a lot less hypothetical as the list goes on. The only rule is I won't be talking about sea stars or crocodiles, only because I just made videos on both. Trust and believe that we're very qualified to be here. And if that disappoints you, here's a consolation prize. There's a lot of things to be afraid of being marooned on an island.
Right.
Dehydration, exposure, but most don't consider being cold
Crabs.
And that's because, outside of remote islands in the Indian and Pacific Ocean, the coconut crab is only found in a very remote trip. Despite its name, coconuts are an insignificant part of a juiced-up hermit crab's diet, but that didn't stop nature from equipping them with claws that can splice the fruit open. Besides,
Insane.
their street name is more lore
Oh my
accurate,
God.
as they're also called robber crabs.
I'm
Since
dead.
they'll swarm your camp and carry off anything that ain't nailed down. The problem is, that's also how they hunt. In 2016, scientists watched as a coconut crab climbed a tree and attacked a sleeping bird, snapping its wings only to continue its death grip after they both fell on the ground.
No, it's there.
In minutes, several other crabs spawned in and proceeded to shred the barely breathing bird for hours.
He's manhandling this bird. And then his friends are going to come over and just slowly pick it apart to death. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty crappy way to go. Pretty crabby way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it.
The crawling antichrists are scavengers with bloodlust, so getting gored by one means you'll certainly be maimed by more. And the fact that they can climb and track blood means there's nowhere on the island you can go where the Krusty Krab crew won't find you. The crabs are any-can animals, as in anything can get it. Rats, cats, even full-grown pigs can get flesh.
Any can
The
is
most
nice.
disturbing stories are those of coconut crabs eating humans.
Pause.
Uh-huh.
Okay, when he says full-grown pigs, I just saw this video, right? Did you send it to me? You sent it to me about what a mini pig is, right? Because in case you guys don't know, I feel like we all know, right? That mini pigs don't exist.
Teacup pigs.
Teacup pigs don't exist.
Not real.
Right? When they say mini pig,
Right.
they are referring to a pig that is below 500 pounds.
300 pounds.
No, he said 500.
I believe it's 300, but we can Google it.
And a full-grown pig can weigh up to half a ton.
500-pound pig. Sweet. It's a big pig.
Half a ton. 950 pounds. He had that 950 pound pig.
A lot of pork.
Is that what he means by full? I don't think that's what he means by full grown pigs.
Pigs and boars are gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're huge.
I didn't know. I thought they were like the size of like a pit bull.
Which some are.
Right.
Yeah. You do have some 150-pound pigs. Sure. They're runts. Small, tiny pigs. Little baby, worthless pigs. But there are some that small. And imagine, farmers breed them to be bigger.
That's insane.
They want bigger pigs.
Insane.
Yeah.
One gruesome account followed the 82-day Battle of Okinawa, where Japanese soldiers bore witness to hordes of giant spider-like crabs ravaging the bodies of
Feeding
their
on dead
comrades.
bodies.
There's no real proof that this happened or that it even involved coconut offenders, but unfortunately, that's exactly how the crabs would have acted. Imagine a gang of armored cockroaches carrying the jaws of life, except the outcome of getting caught between them is quite the opposite. And with a diet of detritus, most coconut crabs are poisonous to eat, especially since many have the habit of eating sea mangoes, a fruit so toxic it has another name. The sardus apple. By far the scariest theory, though, is that it was coconut crabs that perp-walked Amelia Earhart off the census.
That's what I've heard.
Whether she was past tense on arrival or incapacitated a plane crash would not have
That is such an insane fact.
And while it's just a theory, the idea that someone's last moments could be spent desperately dragging their crippled body before an army of crabs brutally mutilates them for hours, as their suffering only draws more, is enough to earn them a spot.
You could be less descriptive.
They're only number 10.
Jesus Christ.
Most people aren't afraid of the dark, more so what could be in it. Thalassophobia is that before the ocean.
Oh yeah,
not a lot of people are afraid of the sky. Probably because you should be able to see what's coming.
Right.
That's why the harpy eagle is number 9. Because if this is your predator, you will never know peace. They're one of the biggest eagles on the planet, but what makes harpies built different is that their wings are way shorter, which means the harpy aimbot can chase you through the trees in a way no eagle ever should. Just imagine a homicidal hippogriff breaking into your house and snatching your little brother out of his bed. And now you understand the generational PTSD the monkeys on their meal prep carry. And those claws guarantee you don't get the chance to find out twice. The size of a grizzly bear's mitt with the claws of a Rottweiler's jaws. You can actually hear the bones of their prey breaking as the harpies crush the life out of them. It's safe to say, the same feet that can crack open an armadillo would not feel good to have gripping your skull. It is incredibly rare, but there are cases of harpy eagles attacking and clawing humans.
Are you serious?
Leg had to be amputated because even after death, the talons wouldn't release their grip.
Damn.
In 2023, tourists in French Guiana walked past a perching harpy when it suddenly went for one of the women, plunging its claws into her scalp and leaving her with several deep lacerations. The concept of being jump scared by a plus-size prehistoric Freddy Krueger cockatoo spikes my cortisol, but they rarely go after humans.
And it's jacked up because if something flew at your head, the first thing you would do is duck. But it's coming for your head.
Yeah.
When they do, the fault's usually the humans. The next animal not only punished a good deed of one man, it became one of the worst animal attacks in Brazilian history. Australia gets the reputation for being Satan's sandbox. Not enough people give credit to the sheer insanity of the Amazon. What's a jaguar's favorite exercise? Skull crushers.
Yeah.
Not to mention you have a Jurassic rejected anaconda, an animal that weaponizes electricity and we all decided that was okay, and a fish that convinced thousands to never pee in a river. Yet the apex predator of the Amazon isn't actually a jaguar. To be fair, the giant river otter is also called the crazy. Or the water jaguar. But with its attitude and aptitude for gang violence, it's more like an unhinged water wolf. That gang mentality is how a group can make a jaguar hit the reverse with no key, and it's already bad enough that the roid weasel can grow to 6 feet long, without the fact that they'll also roll in a pack. It's an apex predator that eats mostly fish, but they'll also fold crustaceans, anaconda, and even other river otters will adjust their routine to avoid getting run up on by a crazy
I'm not sold yet.
You don't realize what multiple are capable of until you realize how bad they do caiman. Giant river otters will jump a caiman, overwhelming it until its muscles fill with lactic acid and it's virtually paralyzed. It's been said before, but that is an honest erectile dysfunction. An otter mafia will eviscerate the caiman alive, ripping it to pieces, while also sounding like if Rugrats took place in purgatory.
That's like... Oh yeah, let's play it. Oh yeah. Those are sounds that should not be so terrifying.
Imagine not knowing what river otters are and hearing that for the first time. The worst part is, it's been proven the same hunting tactic against the human is tragically effective. Silvio Delmar Hollenbach was a Brazilian army sergeant who had taken his family to the Brasilia Zoo when a bunch of commotion got his attention. A 13-year-old had fallen into one of the moats
Wow.
and now was being threatened by the animals in it.
Yeah.
Hollenbeck said, "Don't hold me back," and without thinking, leapt into the pool and lifted the injured kid out. Sadly, that meant the focus of the family of vindictive otters was now on Silvio.
Damn.
And the gang of aggressives dragged the struggling Hollenbeck into the water and brutally mauled him in front of his family.
Get out of
Silvio
here.
would be pulled out, but the over 100 bite wounds and water that was the equivalent of a microbe mosh pit sealed his fate, as he would die of a nasty infection.
Damn.
Hollenbeck was mourned and celebrated by everyone, except the boy he saved, who apparently never even mustered a thank you. The same 13-year-old that got a man turned into a chew toy would be arrested in 2016 after scamming millions worth of pension money, proving that sometimes
What
being
is
a
the
hero
fucking-
only
what?
means saving a villain.
What? What is the relation here?
Why did you didn't have to tell us
Hey,
that.
man, we're getting ready for Christmas.
Right.
Are we just heading to the naughty list
I
beforehand?
want a feel-good story.
You better pick it up as the month goes on.
What the hell?
That was crazy.
Getting mauled and borderline waterboarded by water wolverines is a horrendous way to go out, but again, the chances you get got by otters is still low, and for Silvio, it probably would have been 0 if those otters didn't just have babies. But the next animal is the mascot of F Around and Find Out.
So what I was saying
This picture is terrifying.
I know. What I was saying is, that's most hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Run the animal until it passes out.
Yeah.
You jog, it sprints, and you catch up.
Yeah.
It's also most UFC champions' preferred way of fighting. And when you see it in real time, you're like, yeah, it is actually scary effective.
Yeah.
You can watch another man stalk another guy in a ring.
Yeah.
There's somebody there to save him, but if he wasn't there, he would die.
Yeah.
The Cape buffalo makes no sense on this list, until you remember it's one of the few prey animals that actually hunts predators. The tank, nicknamed Black Death, is arguably the most death-edging
Black
animal to
Death.
hunt because it is a top 5 most vengeful creature on Earth. A common misconception is that the lion's biggest rival is the hyena. That's laughable when a 1,200-pound piss fit can send a big cat backpedaling. The Cape buffalo is number 7 because cows are dangerous enough. But
Right.
if Widowmaker tastes death, the rage cow ensures you go down with it. The Cape buffalo has treed lions for hours, and they'll stalk lion cubs just for the purpose of stomping them out. Now add that the bush mafia can pull up in a super herd of over 1,000. Now you understand how lions risk going full-time horizontal every time they try them. And with a couple hundred people gored and killed by them a year, this is the first animal here with a respectable
Jesus
body.
Christ.
The problem is, every year, people hunt them without realizing the buffaloes hunt back. An injured buffalo has been known to retreat to tall grass to lure you in and stalk you just to rear end you
Yeah.
when your back is turned and keep going until you stop standing. And unlike most herbivores that'll straight up watch you get got, or in some cases gift wrap you themselves, Cape buffalo will spin the block for a predator in an effort 1,000 times John Wick. You know you're dealing with a menace when you're talking about
Yo,
a
he's
cow
in the
using
tree,
the honey
bruh.
badger method on a lion. And
Yep.
some people have to be connected to God's Wi-Fi before they understand. Texas trophy hunter Asher Watkins thought it was sweet until his target attacked him first, completely ambushing him. The spite-fueled beef struck Watkins at 35 miles per hour, tearing his chest and stomach open, and he was
Damn.
declared dead in the ambulance. A tragic death, but definitely not unprovoked. Imagine walking through a corn maze knowing you're one wrong turn away from a buffalo same-day shipping you to the Lord like an afterlife
Jesus.
ambulance package.
I like how you just shared that too. He's really taken that angle, bro. He's made a hard turn
Yeah.
to make sure you guys are aware. It's something like when you watch these videos, we kind of think about, we generally know, like, yeah, these aren't bad animals. They don't do things unprovoked or whatever.
Right.
But I had to be taught that. When I was originally taught about animals, like, they were dangerous, bloodthirsty, brutal, in the wild. Turn your back on it, they'll just come and get you.
Yeah.
You know, especially like in the country, the snake fear is real. Like, they're
Yeah.
just like, snakes will run you down, you know?
Mhm.
And that's just really not the case. It's more just like habitat, location,
Right.
you know, intention.
Where are the babies? Well,
We
not
are-
for snakes.
We are weed whacking.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just here, like, you know, paddock caking or something
Right.
like that, you know?
Literally destroying his home around his ears.
This is my living room!
On several islands throughout Indonesia, you'll find a dinosaur time left behind. The Komodo
Komodo
dragon is
dragon!
one of
I do
the
like
finest
Komodo
ever.
dragons.
Once they start hunting you, you're as good as dead. The Komodo is everything scary about coconut
Yeah.
balls, but on that Jurassic juice.
Yeah.
Komodos will eat everything, and it's why baby dragons will hide up in the trees or even roll around in feces because the adults are highly cannibalistic.
Yep.
The steroid giga iguana also has the unfortunate habit of unearthing human graves and feeding on the long expired remains.
Damn!
The Komodo dragon only has about 12 successful hunts a year, so when one makes you a priority, prepare to spend days tailgated by a murderous monitor lizard. In 2008, 5 scuba divers were caught in a riptide and swept out to sea, and after 12 hours spent drifting the aquatic void, they landed on Rinca Island, where they spent the next 5 days playing cat and mouse with a monster resident dragon that took notice and stalked them, which isn't easy, thanks to another unfortunate habit of theirs. We used to think Komodos were one-shot specialists that only needed to bite you once and then just wait for you to fold to bacteria.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And as cold as that would be, it's like LeBron letting you get the ball just to spank it off the backboard. The truth is more disturbing. Komodos don't just let their prey go, but their contingency plan is if you do get away, the glorified gecko can track you by blood, and anticoagulants in their venom.
Right, you bleed out.
So now it becomes a broken game of hide and seek, and playing it on an island the size of Philly means there's no point in the area code you can go where the leather bloodhound won't find you.
Right.
Even worse, the longer you manage to play manhunt with monitors, the more dragons will be there to eviscerate you when you do fall.
Wow, the first dragon that grabbed it by its testicles was starting to chew its way into the body from below. The second was slowly forcing the buffalo's head open, was going down its throat. It's going into its ass. That is really horrifying.
This has got to be fake.
Yeah, this is pretty. It bubbled up from the muddy depths. Who is writing this? The white slobs and ooze from the buffalo's mouth. That is just a terrifying description. Yeah. Are you done with this?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That blood sense is no joke. Menstruating women are actually advised against visiting for fear that the resident garbage disposals confuse them for a dying animal. There's stories of bleeding tourists lying to their guides to not miss out on the trip, only to be surrounded by dozens of Komodos coming in from all over the island. And if you think there's no way an animal moving like that can catch you slipping, millions of years of evolution would argue. One incident saw 2 dragons stalking a fruit picker from below a tree, and when Muhammad Anwar fell, the Komodos rushed him and mauled him to death.
Oh,
maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Or maybe you haven't heard a baby goat scream from inside of a dragon.
Sir!
Yeah, I know.
Are you okay today?
You want to look it up? You
No.
like? So one
Why
time,
would I want to look that up?
maybe you wanted to hear the goats.
Why would I want to hear that?
Maybe you thought it was interesting. I don't know.
I'm playing the video.
There's one time the teacher, one of my teachers when I was younger was like, oh, pick an animal you want to take home. And they wanted us to pick like cute animals. And I picked a Komodo dragon because we just learned about it in class. And my teacher was so mad, so angry, and spent the rest of the week trying to explain to me like how dangerous they were and you really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And give me like nasty faces and stuff. But I was obsessed. I thought the things were so freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know? And learning more about how they killed things. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that as a pet?
Right.
Put one on like a string and you couldn't put it on strings. It would hunt you too. I'm like, not mine. This is my pet. It would hunt other people.
Right.
You know, kids just go off on these like random things. But I think about that often.
Yeah.
And I was right. If you could have one as a pet and it wouldn't maul you to death, it'd be a very, very cool pet.
Yeah.
To say that the ocean terrifies me beyond comprehension is an understatement, and the animal that scares me more than any other isn't a shark, isn't an orca, not even a giant squid, but not a squid. Because I'd rather go skinny dipping around great white sharks than ever catch a Humboldt squid in the wild.
He's talked about this
only
before.
Up to 6 feet
Yeah,
long.
yes.
They're not the biggest, but everything about the way they feed fuels my nightmares. When a hunting Humboldt homes in on something, they'll approach it with all 10 appendages extended to grab prey and force it towards its mouth. And not only can that beak slice skin and cut chainmail, they do it so fast that they can grab and retract prey in just one camera frame. Not to mention, they have 2 tentacles with suckers that contain inner teeth. Great for grabbing.
Yeah.
But the real reason the Humboldt is number 5 is because the way they would hunt
Pack
you
animals.
is straight out of a Stephen
They're
King
pack
legend.
animals.
Humboldts can
Look
hunt
at that.
over a
Look
1,000
how
strong.
many.
They're also
Yeah.
highly aggressive, speed-eating gluttons that'll strip fish down to the bones before fishermen even have time to reel them up. They're also trigger-happy with the cannibalism, and the moment one of their own shows weakness, it gets jumped and torn to shreds. The problem with Humboldts is they speed-run life so fast, they're never not thinking about food, and if you find yourself in the waters at the wrong time, you can get mauled by a pack of fleshy-armed box cutters. But it's the intelligence that's the biggest problem, because Humboldts aren't always aggro. They can be curious too, and they'll often steal cameras and lights just to take them apart and examine them. But Humboldts can go from 0 to homicide in seconds, and because they communicate by flashing red in a sea of black, once one says go, many more will follow. One diver was approached by a squid who gently started nibbling on him, and the diver, who probably couldn't believe his luck, started filming. And in seconds, the squid started pulsing red, and the man was immediately slammed by multiple.
That is crazy.
Began to pull him into the abyss. He would escape, but he genuinely thought his ticket to Tupac was booked.
Wow.
There's many more stories of divers being confronted by squids and nearly dragged to the point of no return. And some even swear they've had Humboldts attempt to rip off their masks and drown them. But going back to the first diver, I think the most disturbing part is the moment he didn't fight back and let himself look easy was the moment he became a green light to a red devil. The unfortunate fact is that Humboldts will perform diel vertical migrations, where every day they rise from the depths to hunt before eventually going back down.
That's crazy.
So they're more likely to run into you during goblin mode. Fortunately for the next animal, goblin mode is their entire life.
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, that was intense, bro. Yeah, you're like, Chino's so cute around here. He thinks we're cute. Eat him. Polar bear.
You know what that reminds me of, actually, is you remember in, I think it's the second Hellboy 2, Golden Army, and they have the cute little tooth fairies.
That is,
And they're like, oh my god,
that's
the tooth fairies are so cute, and then they eat everybody.
Yeah, that is a good one.
You don't like that.
I don't.
I want to clarify, they don't actively hunt humans, they just passively don't give a follow me now. Polar bears are the largest predators on land.
Just big as fuck.
As you think they are, I swear to you they're bigger. The problem starts with the fact that they're the only hyper carnivore bear. They eat meat, and meat stands for Merc every and any time. They make up 95% of their diet, where in something like a grizzly bear, it can be as low as 10. That would be bad enough, but polar bears also live in a freeze-dried desert where in the winter, they can only live off of feces, foxes, and other fallen polar bears. Polar bears have way less options, and with the sea ice they depend on receding, they can either get creative or get cremated. So they don't actively hunt humans, the same way I don't actively grocery shop for Chips Ahoy, but best believe if I see them, I'ma grab it. That's the polar bear, except they don't have to see you. With the best nose of any predator, a polar bear can smell a seal from miles away. They can detect their breathing hole from another area code, and can even clock a seal under a foot of ice. So it's really true. If a polar bear sees you, it's already too late. From 1870 to 2014, there have been only 73 attacks on humans, with 20 census subtractions. But being targeted by the ultimate predator of persistence is a different level of fear.
It's a great rate of hunting, by the way.
Honestly.
Oh, man. Damn. They don't come often. Well, they do. Somebody getting eaten, bro.
Yeah.
Shit.
2016, 5 Russian scientists were held hostage by over 10 polar bears.
10?
Who stopped their weather station and forced them to have supplies and flares airdropped by helicopter. In 2019, 50 polar bears invaded the town of Novaya Zemlya and put them in a state of emergency, where people were afraid to leave their houses and refused to let their children go to school. And with shooting them being illegal, folks had to bear this reverse Goldilocks situation unarmed. And I mean that literally, with ice bears breaking into residential buildings.
Damn!
Polar bears are a force of nature. And number 4, because once one chooses you,
that
you can't
video
run
is
fast
terrifying.
enough or swim far enough to be safe. One swam over 400 miles in just 9 days, so trust that you will not get away. But there's always been something about a carnivorous Q-tip that unsettled me, and I think I figured it out. Polar bears are a lot like the squid, where they're incredibly curious and intelligent, which makes the way they hunt and engage in general seem cold and calculated. You'll often notice in a lot of videos where they approach humans, the polar bears seem quiet and emotionless, and you can almost see them trying to figure it out. And their face expressions and body language tell you nothing. A polar bear pulling up on you can be curious, apathetic, or ready to revoke your presence, and you will not know which. And that's just it. They're disturbingly deadpan. And I think that's by design. Most black and brown bear attacks are defensive. They either had cubs around or you managed to catch them off guard. And most times they'll give you many signs that you're effing around in the jurisdiction of finding out. A polar bear doesn't. Because oftentimes a polar bear isn't trying to negotiate or communicate. With you, it's trying to eat you while weighing the cost. So what often makes them look cute and innocent is actually them being apathetic, emotionless terminals.
He's really just like, I'd eat the shit out of him, I think, first. Probably her second. If he ever came up off that, oh, look, a ball. That's kind of cool. Anyways, I'm going to nibble his toes first and then move up to his shoulder joint. Is that a seal? Let me go grab that first. I'm gonna come back.
If I were, first of all, if I were ever in a place where I ran across a polar bear, I would simply pass away.
Yeah.
I would just die right there.
That lady like screaming when the roof was leaking.
Yeah.
Just crying unconsolably.
No, I would just die. I'm not hysterical. I'm dead. I've passed away. Same thing. It's the same. Okay. It's the same thing that I keep telling you.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
It's the same thing as I keep telling you. If I ever fall into the ocean,
Yeah.
I'm dead already.
Yeah.
I have already died.
We had one hilarious conversation, lasted like 30 minutes, about what we would do if we fell into cold, freezing water and like we couldn't make it out.
Yeah.
And we were like, we would choke each other to death.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting out here. I'm not tanking.
We can't choke each other to death.
You don't remember this talk that we had?
Yes, but I'm just saying.
Super fun. We're creative in ways that probably don't need to be discussed. We'll move on.
Because remember, they don't fear humans the same way their cousins do, and most encounters are on the polar bear's terms.
What do they have to be
So it's
scared
true
of?
when they say, if it's black, push back. If it's brown, retire to the ground. And if it's white like a sheep, you finna go to sleep. Color of a beluga, last time talking to you. And white like a picket fence means you'll wake up past tense.
All right.
Number 3 and number 2 are
Mine's
both
like
interchangeable. It just depends on which movie scares you more. A gross out body horror slasher flick or a psychological mental health
I didn't like
massacre.
that.
If you pick psychological, wait for number 2. And if you pick slasher, well, you probably already know how horrific it is being hunted by chimps.
Yeah,
the sick
we've
joke
talked
is
about
less
this.
than 5%
Yeah.
of their diet is meat.
Yeah.
Yet in places like Ngogo and Uganda, they can have a success rate of 80%. And it's because the way they hunt is
80%.
coordinated and calculated. First, you have drivers, and their job is to pressure prey into the trees without actually trying to catch them. The moment you try to climb, you've screwed yourself, because there's also blockers whose job is to limit any possible escape routes and make a literal jungle gym even smaller.
Yeah.
So now you gotta avoid them while being chased through the trees by chasers. The last role are the chimps smart enough to anticipate where you'll try to escape and will camp themselves in the perfect spot to snatch you
That's
if you pass
so
by.
fucked.
Yeah.
It's painfully effective. And once something like a colobus monkey is caught, it's immediately crippled and eviscerated into several pieces. I genuinely have to be careful with what I show you. Just know that monkey's still alive and he gets his arm snapped after all that. Chimpanzees are number 3 because they might have the most brutal ways of sensing prey, and they don't discriminate. Chimps are on record ambushing families of gorillas.
That can't be efficient, right? Like there's got to be a sick undertone.
Well,
to that.
there's some semblance of joy.
Man, they're
you think?
just like, bro, I just really like hitting shit really hard also. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Females and running fades with a silverback and kidnapping any babies to
Running
remove
fades with
them.
a silverback.
They're not the only babies at risk, and viewer discretion is advised.
I did not like that
As
photo.
habitat loss and food shortages have pushed humans and chimps together, there have been more cases of chimpanzees snatching human children with chilling results.
Yeah.
One human toddler was actually, hold on, viewer discretion, I mean it this time. One human toddler was
Okay, so we'll give an extra little pausey pause because I know some people use, they have the camera, the phone, and the little thingy. Okay, here we go.
grabbed by a big male, and in less than a minute, he broke his arm, beat his head in, and even disemboweled the boy and removed his kidneys. Being hunted by chimps is like playing death tag with parkour-capable pack-hunting zombies, but luckily, meat isn't their main food, and attacks are still relatively rare, which is why I have tigers at 2. Tigers don't actively hunt humans, but living on top of each other for centuries is why tigers have the highest human body count of any animal on this list. Folks traditionally wore masks backwards in order to discourage the tiger into thinking he had lost the element of surprise. But it's believed the trick was spammed too hard, and now the tigers are catching on.
They know.
Intelligence is the second scariest thing about them. Number 1 is they are the most vengeful animals on the planet. Black Death be damned. Piss off a tiger, and you might not live to regret it. You may have heard of the poacher that shot a tiger and stole part of its kill. So the tiger tracked him down all the way to his cabin, destroyed anything that smelled like the poacher, including his mattress, just to John Wick the man when he eventually returned home. Tatiana the tiger proved that you don't have to be in the wild to find out, after she escaped her San Francisco enclosure to track down and savage the men that had taunted her. But
That's
by
all
far
them,
the most
though.
notorious tiger in history was the Devil of Champawat.
Yep,
This was a
we've heard
Bengal
about
tiger
him.
who had gotten her canine teeth broken, likely by a human, which meant she could no longer hunt her normal prey. The result was she started stalking humans.
Just
Yeah.
eating
And
people.
was the man-eater of Champawat destroyed 436 people,
Damn.
eluding poachers and hunting parties, and somehow always knowing when to leave an area and lay low. Tigers are quick and efficient. They take you out and then return back to the shadows.
Woo!
And honestly, I'd probably die of an anxiety attack long before a feline flatline.
That's what
They don't
I'm
usually
saying.
go out of their way,
He gets
but all the
me.
extra exposure around humans has shown us exactly what tigers are capable of. And the worst part is, they could easily be scarier.
Yep.
The reason tigers are orange is because orange isn't a concept to the animals they do prey on. And if we were on that list, this is what the world's biggest whiskered reaper
That
would look
is
like. And it's still not
terrifying.
number one.
That's terrifying.
Number one.
Orcinus orca is the most
I
oppressive
fucking-
predator on the planet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She is.
Thank you.
She is so terrified of orcas.
Vindication.
You know who else is really scared of orcas?
DJ.
He's also scared of whales and
That's
orcas.
my homie.
Damn.
At this point, there's not much I can say that you don't
Them,
already
bro,
know.
this shit is
You know
crazy.
they're intelligent, but what genuinely surprised me is they take very few risks. If prey has the smallest chance of fighting back, orcas will move the needle to 0 before they move in. Not only that, but their methods change depending on the target.
Yeah.
That's why they'll soul slap a stingray before it can sting. That's why they'll immobilize sharks before they can bite. And
Yeah.
that's why they'll up smash a seal as high as they go like
That's
Super Smash
nuts.
Bros. But they don't neutralize prey just to be safe to eat. They'll turn a dying animal into a life lesson. In that same stingray clip, a family of orcas toyed with the half-alive stingray before letting its body sink into the abyss.
Because
when they were
they're
done.
evil.
I genuinely believe the stingray was slapped by the orca grandmother, and the rest of the pod was playing with it in order to learn how to deal with one. And when the lesson was over, they had no
They're
further
not
use
evil,
for
they're
it.
just
It's not cruelty,
animals.
it's communal calculation.
Yeah.
But it is why orcas are the most fear-inspiring, heart-retiring predators to have.
Yeah,
I'm
Thank
still
you.
not convinced. Let me tell you a story that still
Thank
sticks
you.
with me. One grandmother orca was not only smart enough to memorize
Pause.
when elephant seals and
I'm going to have nightmares tonight, just so y'all know. And I'm doing this for you. You're welcome.
She's like actually really scared, and I have a part of me that like I don't know how much I should interact with the content because I have so many things I want to say.
Say them. I
But
want you to interact.
It just like stabs her in the head every time I bring up a new fucked up thing they could possibly do. It just awakens new fears for her. For me, I'm like, it's kind of unsettling, but like I'm never gonna be there.
You
So
don't
it's just this-
dream, so it's different for you.
I had a dream the other night. One time we were wrapping a really big burrito. It was just a very large burrito. We just kept wrapping it. Just wrapping it and wrapping it. Because me and my wife were really bad at wrapping burritos.
I am great at wrapping burritos.
Actually terrible. And it's like hilarious because now we can cook, but we cannot wrap burritos.
I am notorious for not being able to wrap burritos.
Burrito illiterate.
I fill them too much.
Mm-hmm. That's what she said. So let's get back into the video. I have no feelings about this. My dreams don't last long. My fears are few.
20-foot Type A dolphin basically staked out the nursery pool until the tide got high enough for her to seemingly spawn out of nowhere and abduct a defenseless seal pup, where she then dragged the seal out to sea as a practice dummy. For the next several hours, her family toyed with and tormented the baby seal, with the pup alive for most of it.
Damn.
Again, it's not evil or torture, but it is how orcas polish their prowess.
Right.
But for the seal, that's stranger danger on steroids, and one of the worst ways to go out. Slowly, and with zero hope.
Yeah.
And now you see why great whites will piece out of a favorite hunting ground for a calendar
They
year
will
if they have
leave.
a run-in with an
I'm
opt
outta here.
And why humpbacks feel the way they do. We're talking about animals that'll role play as prey and practice drowning each other before they try it on a baby blue whale.
Yeah.
It's not an act of malice more than survival. Simply a skill surplus for them and a skill issue for everyone else. I won't slander them, but I definitely pity their prey more than anything else.
Yeah.
I gotta come clean. I did lie to you. They're actually not the most oppressive predator on the planet.
Okay.
That would be take away the guns, the technology, and everything else. The very foundation
Yep.
of how humans hunt.
It's
makes them
us.
the most horror movie predators.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he would say it's us because I've
Yeah.
been thinking like, sorry, dude, we would dominate this entire list.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea, bro. People are awful.
Yeah.
We are so good at this shit. And also, like I said, when we were a kid, we just were taught to start caring about animals.
Yeah.
They started that in like 2000, bro.
Mhm.
You know how recent that is? You're one of the first generations alive that are taught to care about animals.
Yeah.
My parents don't give a damn about animals. In church, they taught them they didn't even have souls. They were like, yeah, just kill them. It's fine.
Yep.
Imagine a predator you can never run away from.
Yeah.
You can get ahead. You can even get out of their sight, yet every time you turn to the horizon, they're there. They're not even tired, but you are. You're exhausted. You're thirsty and about to drop from heat stroke, yet there they are, not missing a beat.
Chilling.
Barely breaking a sweat. Hell, you can't even sweat. Not like them, and it's killing you. You look in the distance, and to your dismay, here they come again.
There they are.
But this time, you don't have the strength to get back up. They're slow, but persistent, like an immortal snail that never stops. They run you into the ground, waste you without even touching you, and come sunrise, they're ready to do it all again. You just won't be there to see it. They're finally here. They literally walk you down knowing you're at your limit. One raises its stick, you close your eyes, you'd breathe your last breath, but they took all you had left, just like they take everything else. Your story's over, but the ending was authored long before you first ran. It's not your fault, it's not evil or a crime, but it is what happens when you meet the scariest predator of all time.
That was very poetic.
That was good, dude.
Yeah.
He even snuck in a couple memes there at the end, too.
Yeah.
I like it, man. He does great work, man. And like I said, I love the new angle he's been taking to make sure that he kind of drills that point in, because it's the story in history that kind of needs to be told.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very fun philosophers that kind of talk about that concept of history and all that kind of stuff and how it relates to what needs to be talked about, you know, as it feeds into like the zeitgeist. You know, you've heard that word kind of come up a lot. But there are ways to feed into that as it shifts and changes. And like this is one of the pioneers of that on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, not just going for the clicks, not just going for the fame, but going for that real shift that's needed in how we understand the world around us. So I think these are awesome to always bring, you know, to the community.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I mean, you know, I enjoy these videos. I feel very vindicated about the Orca
Sounds
thing.
of water.
I've been telling you guys. You know? So I'm happy. He agrees with me. Thank you.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget about our jellies that we're trying. Those are very important to us. And we'll holler at you. Yeah, also that. Peace.